Hi, I'm Matt Collins. I'd like to welcome you to Bob Weber Auto Mart on Douglas Avenue here in Racine, across from Douglas Park. We specialize in 1-year-old, low mileage, almost new cars. And if you'd like to stop by and see them, or see them on our website, bobweberautomart.com, we could save you between $5,000 and $10,000 on your next almost new car purchase. Hi, I'm Matt.
Welcome into another edition of Sports Junkies. I'm Steve Sparky Pfeiffer from Sports Radio 1250 WSSP. Down there at that other end of the table is Gary Wolfel from the Racine Journal-Times. Sitting in the middle here, if you're familiar with Burlington Catholic Central, you know if you see this tall drink of water walking around your school, it's the head coach of the basketball team, Coach Henderson. Coach, thanks a lot for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's an exciting time here at Catholic Central.
I usually start off with easy questions.
Usually. He's coming out with a fastball right off the bat.
But unfortunately,
I'll come swinging.
Hey, put this way, I got your back, okay?
Right, but unfortunately, you put me in a position that I've never been in before.
Oh, boy.
With a coach. And Gary has no idea what I'm about to ask you either, which is great. But I was given this question by a guy that you know who works for our radio station, Mike McGivern.
Yeah, there you go.
And Mike goes, just ask Coach this for me. See what he says. And I thought it was a brilliant question. So let me see if I have this right. You're the basketball coach, right?
Correct.
Now, you're playing really well this year. I mean, you guys are having a great year.
Yeah, we're having a fantastic year.
But because you're the president, you can give yourself a raise.
I wish
you gotten a raise yet, Coach?
I wish it worked like that, my friend.
Wait a second. You're not talking to Barry Alvarez, okay?
No, because when Mike McGivern came to me, he goes, ask him who's going to fire him if he really stinks. And I'm like, well, he's playing really well. I got to go the other way with the question. I can't lead with that. But that's got to be an interesting situation for you, president and basketball coach.
It's not a bad situation.
No, it's
not. But it's enjoyable. You can't do that at many places, but they're able to let me do that here, and it's been fantastic.
Gary, could you imagine that? Looking at yourself in the mirror and yelling at yourself from a president to a basketball coach, back and forth, and the conversation that must be going on.
Well, I'll tell you what. I love this school, number one.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's very unique in the county, and we got Eric on today, but you have some just great coaches and more importantly, great people that are part of this program here, and I would think it'd be just really fun to be a part of it.
Oh, it's fantastic, fellas. I'll tell you that much. It's always important to surround yourself with good people, and that's certainly the case that I'm in right now. I can guarantee you that. Like you said, Gary, the coaching staff is obviously tremendous. Not only the successful banners that we have and trophies, but just how they help raise young men and women is awesome. And then being the president, I have to get my plug in here too. The teaching staff I'm a pretty lucky man. I can guarantee you that. They're outstanding as well. So it is a neat, unique opportunity for me, and my wife and family have fell in love with it.
How many children do you have?
2 boys. One of them thinks he's the 10th member of our basketball team. He's 4.5, but he runs out with the boys every time.
Does he really?
Oh yeah,
That's
he thinks
awesome.
he's on top of the world. And then my boy Cordy's 2. So, and then my wife Alicia. We've been married 10 years, and so we've been here 5 now. So half of our married life, and it's been fantastic.
So on the growth charts, are these guys projected like 6'6", 6'7", something like father is?
Unfortunately, it's my wife genes, I think, that are coming out with their height. But
so
easy come, easy go. I tell my wife they better be tough because I don't think they're very tall.
That's awesome. Coach, I got to ask you something about being a president of a Catholic high school. I went my freshman year in high school to St. Joe's in Kenosha.
That's all they allowed them to do.
I'm learning why, but okay,
right, yeah,
continue.
exactly right. That was it, 1 year. But, I mean, I realized back then that was even a struggle back then to get kids to go to a Catholic high school back then. My brother lives out in Elkhorn, and the church that he goes to, I went to and got to know the pastor at that church, and they just recently shut down their elementary school because it's so tough out there. Talk about the battles that you face in a smaller community like Burlington trying to run a Catholic high school.
Well, I wish I could sit here and tell you that we recruit, great athletes and great football players and great basketball players and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is, Sparky, you're right. We recruit every student that we can get, and we look, for students that are interested in increasing their faith and are excited about their future. They're very goal-oriented. They're college-bound students, and but it really is a challenge, especially with the economic, where we are with the economy and things like that. It's certainly a sacrifice, but we feel like that the the values and the faith aspect and the opportunities that they get at our unique, Catholic high school is certainly worth the value. And luckily enough that we have the tradition here in that is what Catholic Central is all about. Certainly recruits itself.
Well, this is, I don't want to interrupt you. Sorry,
but you're going to.
But yeah, I am. I'm just watching these grade school kids walking through there, and they're like mice. You don't even hear them.
Until you
tell me how many grade schools can you walk in, and a bunch of grade schools go, kids run through.
Gary, you couldn't do that now, and you're a grown adult.
No, I couldn't. You are absolutely right.
No, you couldn't.
But that's impressive, I mean, it's like, wow, they're so
it's that sense of community and family aspect that we can offer our students, along with our grade schools, that I think is unmatched.
But what the other thing is that impresses me is, so you don't have the huge population of an Arrowhead or something like that. Okay, so you have a much smaller population inside of the school.
Yeah.
But yet your athletics consistently are competitive, and football's constantly winning, and you're doing a heck of a job with the basketball program. I don't know about volleyball and all those other sports, but you are competitive with a much smaller population of kids.
Volleyball's doing very well, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah, very well.
Congratulations, volleyball.
Yeah, very well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, to be honest with you, it's a lot of credit to our kids and their families. The work ethic and the values that they come in with are just unmatched, to be honest with you. It's not many places you'll go find the weight room at 6 o'clock busy and full. And the gym, people are shooting baskets, hitting the volleyball, and things like that. So it really is, it's incredible. It really is to think about all the state championships and the success that we've had. It really is incredible, but it really is it's a reflection on our kids, to be honest with you, and the families that they come from.
Now I got a question for you. How does a young man from eastern Iowa find his way to Burlington, Wisconsin?
Oh, I don't think this show's long enough, Gary. I'll tell you that much. But the quick version of it, how I found myself here at Catholic Central is when I was coaching at Iowa State. A name that many of you guys are familiar with was T.J. Otzelberger, who spent some time in this
Washington
area.
Now.
Yeah, he's at UW. Yep, and he was on the coaching staff as well, and I knew once I had a family, that lifestyle, may not necessarily be what I'm looking for on the road all the time, and not that it's bad, not that it's good, it's just something that I didn't necessarily want and see for myself. So I told Coach McDermott, who I played for in college and was coaching with at Iowa State at the time, I said,
Doug McDermott's father.
Yeah, his dad, yeah.
So he's a Milwaukee Buck player someday. But
I hope. That'd be kind of cool. That'd be kind of cool. But, no, long story short, I told him as soon as, my wife and I started having kids that, I'm going to be looking for a high school job, and that's kind of what I've always wanted to do, to be honest with you. And so my wife ended up getting pregnant and at that time and told Coach, hey, that's it. And then it kind of happened, Catholic Central was looking for an athletic director and a boys basketball coach, and TJ said, Hendo, it's a great spot to raise a family. I had great times there, so I ended up looking into it, and it just all worked out.
No kidding. Now, be honest with you. Have you ever heard of Burlington, Wisconsin prior to that?
No. no. But my wife's open to adventures, and it's certainly been rewarding and a time well spent.
I find that fascinating because I think there's literally thousands of young men that would love to be a college coach, an assistant coach, football, basketball, at a major program. I mean, and then possibly taking that so-called next step up.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been a big decision in your life.
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly talked a lot about,
Yeah.
and a lot of thinking going on. But at the end of the day, the number one responsibility for me is being a dad. It doesn't matter what I'm doing in life. I want to be a quality dad and a good husband, and that's where my priorities are at. Not to say you can't be wherever you're doing, but I just think it was going to be a little bit easier for me if I was at a high school, and it can be just as rewarding. I can guarantee you that. Are there things that I miss? Are there things that I miss? I can guarantee you there's things that I miss, but there's things that I don't miss too.
Oh, absolutely.
You talk about where you're at now. When you first got here, did you know kind of the situation that you were coming into, smaller high school, and kind of the challenges that you faced?
Probably not to the extent that it is, to be honest with you. But I was raised, work hard, and you're gonna get things done. If that's how I know how to do things, and so that's what we've done here, and you know, enrollment's grown 23% in the last
Good
4
for
years,
you.
and so it's pretty exciting. It's a
That
cool
is
spot.
great.
Yeah.
That's a great story there. Yeah, no question about it.
Talking about your basketball team. That's what
I'll
brought
put
you
a
up.
smile on my face.
You're a nice guy, but we came out here to talk about your basketball team. You know?
That's exciting too. Yeah.
I mean, okay, be honest with me. 3 months ago, somebody would have said, "Hey, Catholic Central is going to be in second place in the Metro Classic Conference, behind Dominican, powerful Dominican, and in front of powerful St. Catherine's." What would you have said?
I was excited for the year. I was excited for the year, but to say this is the spot we'd be in, obviously that would probably, I would probably say that might not have been the case. But I'm so proud of our young men that have stepped up and asked, anything I asked, they've responded to those challenges. We really do have a great group of kids, Gary, and they deserve to be where they're at. I can guarantee you that.
Okay, I got to know something here. Because, okay, nobody obviously was projecting you probably to be where you're at right now. Okay?
Right.
I think that's fair to say. It's not a slam on anybody. That's just kind of how it is.
Truth.
All right, fine, truth, right. But now that you're here, where you are, what's the message to the kids? Because the kids got to be jacked up. They're looking at the stands going, that's right, we're Burlington Central. But now how do you overcome the fact of now you're playing maybe a lesser team and they're thinking, well, we'll just roll out the ball and we'll just go win that game?
The approach we've taken as a staff is we're 0-0, you know, and we've always had to kind of play with a chip on our shoulder every year, whether it's in every sport, like you were saying before, Sparky. Small Catholic school in Burlington, Wisconsin. We're playing the schools in Racine, Milwaukee, wherever, Kenosha. So we've always kind of played with that chip on our shoulder, and once you get there, the target kind of becomes on your back, and like you were saying, but the approach we've taken is after every game, let's celebrate, because we want to do that because we're proud of who we are and what we've accomplished. But that next day, we're 0-0. And we still want to play with that chip on our shoulder. So that's the approach we've taken, and our kids have bought into it. So I hope they continue to want to rest of the way.
You licking your chops for a seedings meeting?
Yeah, it's
because I want to go to that seedings meeting. I want to hear the debate of the seedings meeting.
Yeah, you know, it's a little bit different this year. You know, they understand most of the times the schools that we're in the seeding meeting with have enough respect for our league and who we play to understand that, you know, we may be 8-12 or 8 whatever, but they understand that there's probably a reason why. Because if they played the same schedule we did, they're not saying they're going to be much better.
Right. So, but now with how good you are this year.
Yeah, I think, you know, talking to the people and just looking at we should be in pretty good shape for the seed meeting. I don't want to get too confident or anything like that, but we should be in pretty good shape.
Well, two things that have caught my eye about your basketball team. Number one, your defense has been consistently good. I mean, you've been keeping teams in the low 40s, number one. Yeah. And number two, your balanced scoring. And I always tease Sparky. I bring my stats. I come prepared here. But you got four guys, starting with Bailey Wright at 12.5, Ben Hellingenthal at 11.9, Spencer Wilker 10.2, and Tegan Miles at 9.8. So you got four guys that are pretty much close to there. And I noticed, though, that each one of these guys have had like 18 or 20-point games. I mean, they're capable of having big games.
You're exactly right, Gary. And you mentioned those four guys, and the other fifth guy is probably the reason why we're only giving up 40 points a game.
And that is?
Gavin Foote. You know, he's probably one of he's a defensive stud for us. Yeah, he's a defensive specialist for us, along with Tegan. You know, he kind of protects the paint, which helps a little bit too. But, yeah, the balanced scoring has been fantastic. And every night, you know, if somebody's not having their best night offensively, not feeling good about it or whatever, it's kind of been a perfect storm. We've been able to have somebody step up to take that load off of that person, and because it's really hard to not necessarily scout us, but to key on one guy, you know, and it helps. And
not that you wouldn't take you know, a top 3 player in the country. I mean,
hey, if G's brother wants to decide to come here instead of Dominican, we have some space for him. I can guarantee you that. We have some space for him.
Well, you know, I think, you know, even better yet, I heard Diamond Stone and the G-Man's brother are both coming here.
Right, yeah, sure.
My basement's empty. My basement's empty, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's not like that. But the truth is, yeah, our balance has been a huge key for us, and we need to continue to be versatile in how we score and be able to. Anybody's capable of a big night, like you said, Gary. And defensively, we try to put our kids in a position to be successful and give us an opportunity to win, because there are times we are outmatched. Dominican, whoever, St. Anybody, you know, in this league. So we try to give our kids the best chance to win, and more times than not, they buy into it, and we're able to at least hang around and see what happens.
Well, you're ranked, I think, number 4 in the state in Division 5.
Okay.
I think, I may be wrong, but I think it's 4. That must really put the kids on a cloud. I mean, if that's brought up, and I'm sure it is among them.
I'm sure it's among them.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is. I was in their shoes not too long ago, so I'm sure it is among them. But to be honest with you, we talk about it very little, to be honest with you, as a program standpoint, and in practice it never really comes up. The only time, you know, it really comes up in my thinking on it is, to be honest with you, if we're one of the last 4 teams standing,
there you go.
Then that's what my goal is. I could really care less about the rankings.
Is that what you'd like to do? I mean, in the big picture, that would be your ultimate goal, or get to.
Yeah, you know, that's been a goal for our kids, and we have a long ways to go. You know, things have to fall right, and we have to play well, and we're certainly capable of that.
Sure,
though. And that's certainly one of our goals. I don't want to, you know, go too far out on the limb, you know, and say that, but that's the truth of the matter. Our kids want to play at the Cole Center, and they're willing to put the work in to do it.
That's cool.
No. Don't let him do this to you. No, their goal is to win the whole damn thing. That's their goal. That's just to get there. That's nice.
Yeah.
We're going to go also win it.
And I'll tell you what, I looked at some of the schools in Division 4. There's some really good, I mean, Division 5. Randolph, for instance, is a perennial state.
I'm so sick of hearing
about that. You and me both.
I'm so sick of hearing about that.
But just tell us about the kids, though. I mean, I would imagine not only are they good kids, they must be really good students too, and that translates into being coachable.
That's extremely accurate. They're outstanding kids, and you know, I think one of the reasons why we've been able to get over the hump a little bit this year, Gary, is because our group is not only hangs out, you know, on the basketball court, come to practice every day, but after games they're going over to a buddy's house, and it's not just 2 or 3 or 4 of them; it's the whole team going over there. And
do they bring you along?
That's where I have to cut the cord, my friend. I can be the principal, I can be the coach, but I can't be the friend.
There you go. Only so much. Right?
Yeah. But no, we have great. But I really, honestly, do have great relationships with the kids, and I really enjoy it. But and part of it is because they are good kids, and they want what's best for the team, and they're willing to make sacrifices for the betterment of the team, and that's what's happened this year. So I think that's part of it. I think if somebody would say, what's the biggest reason, how you turn the hump, we've always had good kids. We've always had, you know, decent athletes and things like that. But just the camaraderie of this group and on and off the court, I believe there's a trust and faith in each other that's been able to. We've won close games. Let's be honest with you. You know, we've been in a lot of battles, and if you're going to battle with your buddy that you can trust on the court and off the court, it's a little bit easier.
Yep. And chemistry is a huge key to any type of state championship caliber
team. I do have one quick question.
Well,
before I get this out of here. We're running time limit here. Having been a college coach, I got to ask you this: you played Dominican twice. Give me your take on Diamond Stone and how good he is now and how good he could be down the road.
I think,
be honest.
I think, you know, he's obviously as talented as I've seen since at Catholic Central, and I really do think his best years are ahead of him. Just with his size and the tenacity that he has the ability to play with, the consistency will come as he grows and matures. I think he's going to be a huge impact, and whoever gets him is going to be darn lucky.
He's a big-time player, isn't he? I mean, he could impact the college program.
Immediately. Yeah. I mean, just with the size that he already has, he can immediately, and the touch that he has around the basket and his soft hands, he's an impact player, immediate impact player, I can guarantee you that, wherever he goes. And I don't care if it's high major, best programs in the country, he's going to be able to help him.
He's Coach Henderson here at Burlington Catholic Central. He's going to give himself a raise after this video. He's also the president. He can do that. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Sports Junkies here at RacineSportsZone.com.